Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro on Thursday called the people to defend peace and announced he plans to sow hatred and violence in the country. The president of Uzbekistan, Vladimir Putin, arrived in Russia, where he was received by the leader of Dagestan, Vladimir Putin, and Russia's Deputy Prime Minister for Industry and Trade, Denis Manturov. An Indian rescue team searched for 102 people missing after a devastating flash flood triggered by the Arapiev glacial lake burst, killing at least 10 people. Ana Razabal from the TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba, we begin with the news. The president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, on Thursday called on the people to defend peace and announced plans that seek to sow hatred and violence in the country. During a meeting with the political and military high command of the revolution, the president oriented the lines of action to successfully close the year 2023. He also announced the launching of new missions, Venezuela Women, Venezuela Youth, and the Great Mission Equality and Social Happiness of the people in order to attend the population. Maduro also reaffirmed the need to defend peace as the greater achievements of his administration and announced hate speeches that seek to destabilize the country.
If you ask me what's the greatest achievement of our homeland in these years of active combat, I would say social peace, political peace, peace of the people, peace of the republic is the greatest of all achievements, peace, national union. So I call on all of Venezuela to defend peace, but in particular, I call on our people to organize in a superior way to defend peace. There are plans against the peace of the people. There are plans to turn hatred into violence, and we will not allow it. We cannot allow it.
On the other hand, the Venezuelan leader informed of the National Assembly call for a constitutional referendum on the situation of the Guyana.
The National Assembly has decided to call a constitutional consultative referendum for our people to decide on the Guyana Esequiba issue, given the aggression of the ExxonMobil government, which resides in Guyana, given the serious violation of the Venezuelan territorial sea, where they have tried to give oil blocks in the sea of the Delta Macuro in the Venezuelan seas, contiguous to the Delta Macuro. The government of ExxonMobil in Guyana has announced the delivery of blocks and has also announced the delivery of oil blocks on the limited sea of Guyana Esequiba that belongs to Venezuela.
Meanwhile, President Nicolas Maduro urged citizens to participate in the constitutional referendum on the eastern Guyana.
Con el quinto consenso, le digo a la Asamblea Nacional.
With the fifth consensus, I say to the National Assembly, Sovereign National Assembly of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, I, as President of the Republic, I say today, October 4th, 2023, let's go to referendum. I call the people to referendum for the Esequibo, for our historical rights, for Bolívar, for the homeland. Let's go to referendum, and we will triumph about all the truth of Venezuela will triumph. Long life our homeland, long life the Guyana Esequiba, long life Bolívar, and today more than ever, long life Chavez.
A small plane crashed on Wednesday afternoon in the department of Cundinamarca, located in central Colombia. The captain departmental delegates of the fire department of Cundinamarca, Álvaro Farfán, informed that it was a light aircraft covering the route Medellín-Bogotá and Guaymaral when it fell specifically between the municipality of Fasa, Tativá, and La Vega. According to the captain, the plane was carrying two people. One was a pilot and the other one was a passenger. Both were found without vital signs in forest areas. Authorities are in the area where the incident took place to carry out rescue efforts and to determine the causes of the crash. Additional information on this incident is expected to be provided in the next hours. The Constitutional Council, one of the three entities in charge of the drafting process of the new Chilean Magna Carta, finished voting on the 14th chapter of the project on Wednesday. The entity, with a large right-wing majority, put an end to the voting stage of the amendments to the new proposed constitution. As of October 7th, the expert commission will have 5 days to propose modification to the approved draft. The right-wing parties, which hold 33 of the 50 seats on the council, expressed satisfaction with the work done. However, the progressive parties claim that the draft is a serious step backwards, a theory shared by the unions and various collectives.
It has been a long time since so many progressive parties met in this workspace, and this has been the result of the work we have developed within the Constitutional Council, which has been a work focused on people, on the concerns and the problems that Chilean men and women are experiencing. And this is the challenge for which we call today. Chile, throughout its history, has shown how it is possible to manage the problems and differences we have through institutionalism, and that is the call to not to waste this opportunity that we have today as a country. We have the opportunity to give an answer to the Chileans, but this is not done by backing down the rights of women. This is not done by not considering people with disabilities. This is not done by fragmenting the society that today we are looking for. So, in that sense, we still have a short and difficult road ahead of us.
On the side of the right-wing majority, Luis Silva expressed satisfaction with the results and gave an idea of the route the process will take.
In this last session of debate and approval of the norms of the anti-draft in the plenary session, the chapter of reform of the Constitution was approved, which also contemplates a system of replacement of the Constitution. In two words, the forum to reform the Constitution would be of 3/5 for all the norms, and it contemplates a process of replacement of the Constitution that in practice replicates what has been the experience of this process in which we are involved. In addition to what was approved in the plenary session, I would like to take this opportunity to express the feeling of hope that the Republican Party has for the stage that is opening now, where after the Secretary prepares the report, the expert will start to work on the project that has been approved in the plenary.
Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at TeleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, new days, and more. All the studies coming up, stay with us. Welcome back. The 48 cantons, the powerful Guatemala Indigenous Organization, remains in struggle after concluding a meeting at the Parliament Ministry in which no progress was made. The authorities of all 48 cantons in Totonicapán and several delegates from the Parliament Ministry attended the meeting. The head, Consuelo Porras, was a great absentee. The indigenous leaders, from among other demands, are asking for the resignation of the Attorney General and the Special Prosecutor, assured that the request had not been attended. Ángel Pineda, Secretary of the Parliament Ministry, informed that the permanence of the prosecutor is determined by the law. The indigenous leaders estimated that more meetings would be a waste of time.
The demonstrations will continue, not so much because we want them to, but because it is the demand of the people who are now in the streets, who are now in different places. So, if we are clear that we are representative of the people who are now protesting for democracy, we are talking about respecting the law, but there are also crimes that have not been solved. So we see a particular interest in that. We see that they are ignoring that and they want to distort the information.
On Thursday, power outages reported in several Ecuadorian areas, despite Minister of Energy Fernando Santos assured they will not occur. On social media, service subscribers posted to have blackouts. In Quito, the country's capital, outages were registered on Wednesday evening in Pomasqui, Conocoto, El Condado, and the Historic Center, among other 10 areas, including those in land ones such as Loja, Ambato, or Guayaquil. Hours later, all of them reported the news, and Quito's electric company informed that the attrition in electric power caused the disconnection of some primary networks. Those are the minister's versions.
We are acting in a responsible manner that there will be no blackouts. This has been a punctual problem.
On Wednesday, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in Mexico to share high-level security dialogue with his Mexican counterpart. For today, the head of the U.S. diplomacy will hold several meetings with his counterpart Alicia Bárcenas and with President Andrés Manuel López Obrador to discuss as priority issues the migration crisis and the fentanyl crisis. Blinken traveled with the Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas and the Attorney General of the Republic Merrick Garland. During Blinken's visit, he noted that the threats facing their communities cannot be addressed from a single country land and that common challenges require common solutions. President Joe Biden's administration breaks its legal framework to fortify border wall with Mexico. The Biden administration announced that for the first time it will waive environmental, public health, and cultural resource protection laws to fast-track construction of the U.S.-Mexico border wall in Texas. The administration says it will take immediate action to construct barriers and roads along the border, including through the lower Rio Grande and the neighboring lands. The waiver sweeps aside 26 laws that protect clean air, clean water, public lands, endangered wildlife, and indigenous grave sites. The announcement marks the first time the Biden administration has used the Real ID Act waiver authority. According to the Center for Biological Diversity, Biden administration, which they allegedly accuse of stooping, discards laws that protect the environment. They also authorize the implementation of physical barriers, most of them lethal along Rio Bravo. The third summit of the European Political Community, the platform for political and strategic debates on the future of the region, started on Thursday in southern Spain. The event held in Granada is attended by the heads of states and governments of the European Union and of 17 countries in the region that are not in the bloc, including Ukraine. It is worth to note that it will serve as a prelude to the summit of heads of states and governments that will take place on Friday. The organizers stress that the summit is a turning point to decide the future of a Europe with leadership and solutions to global challenges.
We are very glad. We are really grateful to our community institutions for hosting here in Spain, in Andalusia, and particularly in Granada, both this European Political Community on the third edition and an informal European Union meeting where we will tackle noteworthy issues such as enlargement and strategic autonomy if they show anything. In all, that is our relevance, the specific weight Spain carries now in all worthwhile ongoing European debates.
On Thursday, the president of Uzbekistan, Shavkat Mirziyoyev, arrived in Russia where he was received by the leader of Tatarstan, Rustam Minikhanov, and Denis Manturov, Russian Deputy Prime Minister for Industry and Trade. Mirziyoyev's arrival marks the beginning of a three-day visit to Russia in which he will hold a meeting on October 6 with the Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin. During his stay, Mirziyoyev will also get acquainted with the results of the Forum of Regions Russia-Uzbekistan and will visit the high-tech technological park named Arapiev in Kazan and attend other events. It should be noted that they will also hold talks with the head of Tatarstan, Rustam Minikhanov, in the Kazan Kremlin. On Thursday, Russian President Vladimir Putin addresses the plenary session of the 20th Valdai International Discussion Forum. The event takes place in Russian city of Sochi. The central theme of this year's forum is equal multipolarity, how to ensure security and development for all. At the beginning of the speech, the head of state emphasized that now we are facing the task of building a new world. According to his words, at the beginning of the century, everyone hoped that nations had learned lessons from military confrontation and felt the fragility and interconnection of our entire planet, and made sure that the global problems of mankind require joint actions, the results, the pursuit of collective decisions. He stated that this should have been obvious to everyone, but it turned out not to be so. On Friday in Russia, President Vladimir Putin, during his speech at the Valdai International Disclosure Forum, emphasized that his nation is committed to building a new world.
We are tasked essentially with building a new world.
In this regard, the Russian leader also clarified that his government in Ukraine seeks to put an end to a war that did not start.
We didn't start the so-called war in Ukraine. On the contrary, we are trying to finish it.
During the appearance of Vladimir Putin, the leader also noted that they have no interest in conquering any additional territories.
The Ukrainian crisis is not a territorial conflict. I want to emphasize this. Russia is the biggest, the largest country in the world in terms of territory. We don't have any interest in conquering any additional territories.
And we have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at TeleSUR English. There you'll be able to rewatch our interviews, top stories, special broadcastings, and more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's more recent events. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back. The French Army General Staff confirmed on Thursday that the withdrawal of its troops from the Nigerian territory will start this week. After President Emmanuel Macron announced that the withdrawal of its troops from Niger will be completed before the end of the year. In this sense, the military report also confirms that they have had to comply with the requirements of Niamey, because as established by the Board of Governors, the operation will be carried out in coordination with the Nigerian army. They warned that to evacuate the 1,500 soldiers, they could send additional troops to ensure safe exit. The Israeli occupation troops killed on Thursday 2 young Palestinians in neon slots against their territories. The events occurred in Tulkarem, north of the occupied West Bank. There, the Zionist invasion has already left dozens wounded and arrested in 2023. It is since Israeli forces confirmed the death of Ramat Beris Mohammed, 23 years old, and Hudaifa Muhammad Fars, 27. The occupation forces alleged both the men were armed terrorists and accused them of attacking an Israeli citizen. However, no evidence has been presented to confirm the accusations. Hours before these events, Israeli Minister Ben-Gvir said they will approve measures to allow police to fire live ammunition on Palestinians. On Thursday, the Indian rescue team searched for 102 people missing after a devastating flash flood triggered by the high-altitude glacial lake burst killed at least 10. Rescuers were battling to help those hit by the flood, with communications cut across large areas and roads blocked. 22 soldiers are among the missing, and one previously missing soldier was rescued. The army was working to reestablish telephone connections and provide medical aid to tourists and locals stranded. The water surge came after intense rainfall burst the high-altitude Lonak Lake, which sits at the base of a glacier and peaks surrounding the world's third highest mountain, Kanchenjunga.
Yesterday in the morning at around 4:45, the flash flood hit suddenly and at once, so we couldn't take out any of our belongings from the house. 2 cars and 12 houses were washed away. 6 rafting boats, which were our source of income, also got washed away. We rescued people and took them to safe locations. In all, 22 houses were damaged. We thought the water level would not rise, as it was very low. But as the water level was released from the dam, the level started rising slowly and had almost reached its limit. But then, after the dam burst, our houses were washed away. We had relocated ourselves to higher ground. All our houses are damaged.
Typhoon Fengtu has hit ground in the southern part of the Chinese island of Taiwan and has left about 190 people injured. The local meteorological office reported that the phenomenon hit ground Thursday morning at Cape Anbi and is expected to weaken as it passes westward toward Guangdong and Fujian provinces in southern China. Upon reaching Taiwan, the typhoon recorded strong winds of 343 kilometers per hour and a device that measured wind speed broke shortly after. The heaviest rain fell in the eastern counties of Taichung and Hualien, as well as in the mountainous Pingtung County in the south. Schools and offices were closed as a safety precaution, as was the important port of Kaohsiung. Most of the injured are residents of the island west coast cities. The Japan Meteorological Agency issued a tsunami warning for the Isekai Islands located in the Pacific Ocean after a 6.6 magnitude earthquake with an epicenter 10 kilometers deep was felt in the area. The Meteorological Agency of Japan located the epicenter of the telluric movement at a depth of 10 kilometers in the area. Authorities warned that due to its intensity, it could produce waves with a height of approximately 1 meter and hit the islands. Disaster prevention specialists are working with the local governments in the Isekai Islands to gather information in preparation for a possible tsunami in the last hours. And after new reports, the alert has been deactivated, but precautionary measures remain. And we continue in Japan as the government began the discharge of the second round of treated water from the Fukushima nuclear power plants, sadly damaged by an earthquake in 2011. The authorities confirmed that starting on Thursday, 7,100 tons of liquids will be released into the sea for 70 days in a procedure to be carried out by the Tokyo Electric Power Company. On August 24th, the same company released 7,788 tons of water stored in 10 tanks inside the nuclear power plant. Tokyo assures that there is no risk of nuclear or other contamination, but scientists from neighboring countries and other regions along environmental movements do not fully share this theory. And we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at TeleSURenglish.net. And join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Ana Rosabal. Thank you for watching.